Humans only use 10% of the brain. Myth. Hair and fingernails continue to grow after a person dies. Myth. I am an excruciatingly charming individual. That one's true, actually. Meanwhile, we're talking about some myths associated with reading comic books. Welcome to Meanwhile, the show that introduces newcomers to the world of comics and connects it to the shows and games you already know and love. My name is Nathan Fadre, and let's get started. Comics are for kids. When they were originally conceived, maybe. Not anymore. In fact, the comic book industry actually had a few worries that the audience was shifting too drastically from kids to adults. Now, there's comics for all different ages, and even men and women. Which brings us to our next point. Comics aren't for girls. Megan, sorry, you don't exist. Bye. But there have always been fangirls. Since the introduction of Wonder Woman back in 1941, girls have always been a part of the medium. And they are the largest growing portion of the audience today. In fact, comic book creators are more and more using strong female characters like Harley Quinn, Captain Marvel, and Storm. They're also doing things like changing current heroes into female versions. Thor. Seriously, Thor. People who know a lot about comics will make you feel stupid when you first start reading. That is absolutely true. Douchebag. I'm kidding, of course. But there are some diehards that'll definitely get territorial. You know, just give them a second to feel good about themselves, and they'll almost immediately be full of advice as to where to begin. Most people will be welcoming, like us. Because geeks like talking about geek stuff, and nothing is more fun than getting to share what you love with someone else. Comics are for nerds! Didn't the nerd revolution already happen? Didn't we win that shit? Trust me, we could use a little more nerd in our life, alright?
So does that mean that myth is true then?
Comic books are just superhero fantasy. The Road to Perdition, A History of Violence, Men in Black, From Hell. All of these movies are based on comic books. So yeah, comics are the medium, not the story. I have to read every comic in the character's history before I can read the current comics. No, but you may want to after you start. Actually, most books are structured around story arcs, which are just individual stories that usually take place over 3 to 6 issues. Just get started at the beginning of one of those, and you're golden. Trade paperbacks are actually the combination of all of the issues in a story arc, so if you pick up one of those, you'll get this full story from start to finish. No one expects you to read every issue, and really, superheroes have been around since 1938, so there are very few people who have read them all. If you're still a little intimidated, don't worry. Meanwhile's here to help you figure out which books to read when you want to get started with a character and how to jump into those comics that are already on the shelves. Join us on this epic adventure through the world of comics and subscribe. Meanwhile, we'll be using 100% of our brain to try and gargle peanut butter. Meanwhile, I'll be punching myself in the face until you read a comic book. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. Ah! Oh my eye! Meanwhile, I'm gonna be putting my hands in a bucket of ice water, you filthy people. What were you thinking?
I was thinking you're gonna put them in your pants.
That's actually exactly what I was
That's actually exactly where I was gonna put them. So,